Hey everybody, welcome back. Monday Morning Briefing, episode number 141, and it is Thursday, May the 22nd, 2025. We're back from Sheridan, Wyoming, back in the shop. The shop is almost put back together completely. We're getting ready for some stuff for this weekend. We'll talk about that in a minute. But we got back Tuesday about 8:30 in the evening. We did have a little blowout on the trailer south of Lubbock on our way back. I'd been watching that tire since about Lyman, Colorado. It looked a little balder than it was when we left Sheridan, so we were kind of keeping an eye on it, and sure enough, we lost it. Of course, the 95-degree heat that we had down here in Texas probably wasn't a help on that, but we got it changed, got everything, but got back on the road, got here, got the trailer unloaded, and then yesterday pretty much just spent the day unpacking all the stuff, doing some orders. Robin was here doing some orders, so I know we have a couple orders from last week that she just sold out of what I had put in bins for her, or they had gotten something that we just didn't have in stock because I had it in Sheridan. We tried our best to kind of account for everything, but we never know what you guys are buying. So if you do have an order that hasn't gone out that you made last week, it will go out today or tomorrow as soon as we get everything kind of sorted out. I've still got quite a bit of stuff to unpack and refill bins and that kind of thing, but we have everything should be in stock pattern-wise and things like that. It was a great show. We got to Sheridan Sunday evening, the previous Sunday evening, and then, went and got checked in at the hotel Monday, ran around, got the trailer dumped off, got our classroom set up. We had an amazing group of classes there. I want to thank everybody that took a class with me in Sheridan. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you got a lot out of it. We had a great time. I got great feedback from the classes and really enjoyed getting to meet some of y'all. Some of y'all have been in my classes before, so it was great to see you again. Guitar strap class went great. Everybody finished their straps. A couple people wanted to wrap up edges and stuff like that at home. But yeah, it all went great. The beginners class was my largest class, beginners tooling. I really enjoyed that class. I feel like we had a lot of light bulbs go off for folks in that class. And it's just a real good foundational fundamental class where we go over mainly the swivel knife. And we talked about it a lot this week. And if you were in my classes, you heard me talk about it. The swivel knife is by far the most important tool to focus on. If you can master that tool and get that tool to where it's second nature in its use, that will revolutionize your tooling by far more than any other tool you can buy. We all want to look at stamps, but we really just need to look at the swivel knives that we have and focus on using those and just kind of do that, whatever swivel knife you want to use. There's a lot of great options out there these days, and so just get one that you're comfortable with, that you enjoy, that you know how to sharpen mainly. That's a very important thing. Be sure you know how to sharpen that. There's jigs and different resources out there for that. And then how to use it and how to properly use it. And we camped on that in all three classes this past week, because even in our advanced classes, we all need to back up a little bit, spend more time on that swivel knife. If you'll practice that every day, 15 minutes a day, I think that'll really, really change your tooling. So we were done teaching Thursday at about noon. My wife and daughter took a class with Julie Bacher for doing the chaperone. It's like a little work apron, but it's kind of modeled after a pair of chaps. And so they did that. They had a blast. They absolutely enjoyed that class. And thank you to Julie for putting that on, because I know everybody that I saw that took that class really, really liked it. So very good class. Thursday, we wrapped up the booth, got the booth set up. Many of y'all came by the booth. I want to thank everybody that came by and shook my hand and got to meet y'all or see y'all again. We really enjoyed that. We did do a little giveaway, a little door prize giveaway there in the booth between us and Joe Melling with 23 Plus, as well as Maker's Leather Supply. Aaron made 3 satchels, the Pony Express satchels that he does, and then Joe Melling, Matt Warner, and I all three tooled a little patch that we put on one of those on each of those bags, and so they gave those away. Congratulations if you won one of those bags. It was pretty neat. It was just kind of one of those deals. If you bought something in any of the 3 booths, you put your name and stuff on a little ticket, and we put that in a hat, and then we drew names from there at the end of the show. And it went really, really well. It's a lot of fun. It's fun to have a little project over there that we're working on, as well as running the booth. It's kind of neat to sit over there and tool on a piece and have customers, walking by, and they can ask some questions and see what we're doing. And all three all three of us were doing that at some given point during the show. And then, of course, Aaron was running around on the sewing machine and getting things sewn up and made those bags. I don't know how he made 3 bags in 2 days, but he got it done. He's a master when it comes to bags. So if you ever get a chance to take a class with Aaron, you will learn how to make bags. He had some great classes there, and I saw a lot of the bags that they made that week in there as well, and it was really, really neat. As far as the World Leather Debut, we did get our saddle entered into the World Leather Debut on Thursday. There was some amazing entries all across that debut. From the youth category all the way through the saddle carves category, there was a lot of really, really high-end craftsmanship and artistry in that debut, as there always is, and it was really neat. I finally got some time to really go through the debut a little bit Saturday morning before it kind of opened up. We got a chance to kind of walk through there and see all the pieces and everything, and it was just amazing. So if you ever go to this show, be sure to take some time during the day to go through the debut and take your time, because there's a lot of things you can see, a lot of techniques that'll just kind of trigger some curiosity in your mind as to how they accomplish that, whatever it might be, and then get your brain kind of turning on what things that you maybe could do similar, as far as techniques, not necessarily, obviously the artistry, but just the things people do with leather in there it's astonishing sometimes. And so they did a great job. Congratulations to everybody that entered that debut and brought something in. That's the big first step. That's what, we always look at. We just want to throw something in, put something out there and see what happens. As far as the saddles carved category, which was the one that I was entered in, we did take third place this year on that. And first and second were phenomenal looking saddles. It was really, really good. And so it was a good deal. They had, I don't remember how many total saddles were in there, but they were a lot of work. I would like to see a total time on all of the saddles in the saddle carves category, just to see how many man hours were put into the selection of saddles that were in there. The Geo and Plain saddles, again, another just great example of craftsmanship and fitting of parts and things like that. The kids entered a piece each in the youth categories, the junior youth category. Neither one of them placed, but they did really well. My son built a pair of spur straps and drew his own little pattern. I kind of helped him a little bit, kind of designed some of the flow in it and stuff like that. But he drew his own pattern. He tooled it, had a lot of fun. So he's excited to wear those spur straps now. He claimed he might want to sell them. So I don't know. I think he's going to keep them. But he was talking like he might want to sell them. And then my daughter built a sling bag, one of Aaron's little, I think he calls it a 75% sling bag. She had done that. We were going to do another type of purse for the debut, but she had already built this purse, a month or so ago. And I said, well, you've got that one done. We're kind of running down on time. So she wants to take her time for next year's debut and build something really cool and work on it over a longer period of time and kind of learn some new techniques and skills. So that's what it's all about. That's what the debut is for, is to, build something, throw it in there, and that way you get some critiques, you get some judges and some craftsmen. They're going to look at that piece and tell you what you did right and tell you what you did wrong. And that's what we're after anytime we enter something in there, and that's what we're kind of trying to teach the kids. And there was a lot of folks that came and talked to me that it was their first time entering their debut. They had amazing pieces in there, and they were just really excited of the detail of the feedback that they received from the judges in their particular category, and it was something that they hadn't noticed or didn't know they needed to pay attention to that, or never thought about this little task or this little skill. And so that's really good, because that's, again, why we do that. Because it's really easy just to work in your own shop all the time without any outside feedback, and you think you're on the right trail, and you probably are. But sometimes some little outside influences just saying, hey, if you'll change this one thing or work here on this little area over here, it can really change the overall finish of your work in the either tooling or the construction, whatever you're working on. The big highlight of the show for us as a show family collectively was the Ann and Al Stoneman Awards Saturday night at the award ceremony, and our good friend and colleague and show family member here, Aaron Heiser, received the Al Stoneman Award in Sheridan, Wyoming this year, which is much deserved. Aaron's done so much for the leathercraft community through his content and his project boxes and his designs and his patterns, and just getting a better selection of tools into one supply company. We've got various companies out there that we all deal with, but one's good for this or one's good for that. One doesn't have really what we need here or there. Makers Leather Supply always seems to be one of those companies, since Aaron started it, to where you can find pretty much anything you need, from tools to machines to leather to finishes and glues. He made a good point in his business to be sure it's kind of a one-stop shop, and built that company with bootstraps, from the ground up, just trying to really grow it into what it is today. And I think he did a fantastic job. And not only from a business perspective, but just from a leathercraft community perspective of his addition into the industry, and his guidance has helped so many people. And so I think that was a spot-on, well-deserved award for Aaron to receive, absolutely. And so we're really proud of him. We were really proud to be there and celebrate with him that night, and to see the smile on his face. It was a really, really good deal, and I know he's super excited about that. So that's your new Al Stolman winner for this year is Aaron Heiser, and so you'll see more of him, I'm absolutely positive. And so I think he's going to continue doing what he does in the future, which is just helping people with leather work, exploring leathercraft, trying to push the envelope a little bit in his own work, as well as bring everybody along with him. So be sure and check him out. If you're not following him on social media, be sure to follow Aaron Heiser. Check him out. And he's all over Facebook and Instagram and that kind of thing. And if you're in Waco, you can stop by and shake his hand. So he's doing really well, and super excited. They did make it back home safe and everything. They always make it home before we do. They always beat us, but they leave that night, like Sunday evening, they're on the road. We ended up staying one extra night and then take it easy and take 2 days. They drive. Of course, he's got a couple little drivers that'll help him, so he makes a mad dash back to Texas. Let's see, what else do we have? We'll get into what's going on this weekend here in a minute. I just want to show you a few of the things I bought. I usually don't go on a big shopping run when I go to these shows, just because I've got pretty much all my tools. Of course, I'm going to stop at Barry King's and I'm going to get something. I like to add at least 1 or 2 little tools to my collection, just as my artistry grows, as my designs change. I want to have more range in my toolkit. This is usually something, if you've taken classes with me, I'm not a promoter of tools. I'm not, hey, you need this one, you need that one, you can't do this without that. Use the tools that you have. Work within your budget, the confines of your lifestyle, and get what you need to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. As your artistry grows and your skill set grows, then begin to add the things that are going to make your job easier. It's not that you can't accomplish certain things. It's just without that tool, it's just that you want to make it a little bit more efficient. And if you can do that and let customers who are buying your work pay for those tools, that'll be a very big help. But yeah, I just got a few things. I usually let the kids pick out each one geometric stamp. We're not at the point where they're tooling a lot of floral daily, so I don't see a point in them having they have a set of tools like bevelers and lifters and things like that, but they're a more value-based kind of price tool, and that's perfect for them right now because they're still just whooping on the leather, feeling the material, learning the equipment and the tools. And so I tell them, hey, pick you out a geometric, because that's something we all in the shop can use on various projects. So my daughter picked out this little box weave geometric stamp, and I'll try to show these in a little video or something at some point. And my son picked out a little serpentine border, just a little border stamp. It's kind of got a little curve in it, almost looks like a little ocean wave when you run it. So that was pretty cool to add to the collection. And then I got really some boring stamps, guys. I got a new Vayner. It's just a little bit different than the Vayner that I use, as well as just a little bit bigger smooth thumbprint, because I have a really tiny smooth thumbprint that I use, and I bought one that's just the next step up, just so I have that other size. And then I got a little, it looks like a little matter, but it's an oval shape, kind of a boxed oval shape, and it's for the smooth flower center, whether it's round or oval, and you can punch that in the middle or off center just a little bit in that smooth center, flower center, and then you can just punch this in there, and that makes it look like a little pod. I usually just use a cedar, but I bought that. So yeah, it's pretty boring. Didn't get anything really earth shattering on that. Just had to get some and support my buddy Barry, and try to just add a few more tools. I also went by Bruce Johnson's booth and needed to pick up some end punches. So if you'll notice, my finger's a little bandaged up right here. I bought some end punches from Bruce. The reason I bought them, they're brand new CS Osborne end punches that he takes and he puts his edge on them. So he'll go through and clean them up, so they will end cut very, very smoothly, very clean and efficiently, and that's why I bought them from him. So if you're wanting end punches, the Osborne tools are kind of a shop go-to as far as just general shop tool, but their edges are not very refined and not very quality. So what we want to do is, if you have the opportunity, call Bruce or get them from him at his booth, because he puts a new edge on these and they are really sharp, hence my finger. I was doing something, and this was stuff I talk about all the time with knife use in the shop and things like that, especially with my son, because he carries multiple knives on him at all times. And he's very, very handy with a pocket knife as far as cutting hay string or boxes or anything like that. But I always tell him, if your knife is not sharp and you're doing something where you're kind of in a bind and it seems like it may be dangerous, stop. Because that's whenever you're going to cut yourself. You'll never cut yourself hardly ever with a really sharp knife using proper etiquette or proper maneuvers. And I was doing that very thing. I had one of these tools, and Bruce put some tape on there, or a little tag he wraps around there with some tape that has the price and what the tool is. And I was cutting those off of all these tools so we could put them in the group back there. I had my pocket knife out, which is the worst knife that I could ever possibly pull out to use to cut anything other than a box or hay string, because that's all I do with it. And so it's not very sharp, and I was cutting that tape off of there instead of grabbing a utility knife. I was using that, and it slipped, and I hit the bottom of this tool, the bottom corner of this end cutter, and it cut me from almost the middle between these last two knuckles all the way over the top of this knuckle. And it cut it all the way through. Very clean cut, very, very clean cut. Didn't really hurt at all, but bled like crazy. Ended up getting it checked out just to see if I needed a stitch. I felt like it was a bad place to put stitches, so they ended up just doing steri strips. So we're good to go. But if you're wondering why my finger's bandaged up, that's why. But that does show how good these edges are that Bruce puts on these tools. They're not razor edge, but they're a good quality edge. In fact, I was quite a bit embarrassed when I took these back there to put them in the bin with the other end punches that I have, because all I did was fill holes. So I've got like a 5/8, a 1/2 inch, because the only ones I have are like 3/4 or 1 inch. I just make them work on smaller straps. And so we got some round ones. So we have all the sizes, as well as the English punch or English tip for all the sizes as well, because Claudia's doing more bags and she wanted them to be proper. She's not real happy, and I'm not either, but I don't do a lot of small strap work, so we've just made that work. But I was real embarrassed about how bad the ones I have look, so I'm going to have to rework those deals. I've just been too busy chopping wood to stop and sharpen my axe. So we got to go do some work on some tools maybe this weekend, get in there and get them looking similar to this if I can. But yeah, real happy with those end punches. I also found, I had one goal at the show was to find I call this a saddle bow. It's just a piece of hardwood. I'm not sure what kind of wood this is. A gentleman that was in the booth when I was looking at it said that he thought it might be zebra wood. I'm not sure. It's not cocobolo, but it's really a good wood. It's nice and smooth. But this comes in real handy when you're forming a swell cover or down in your seat and you're wanting to form. You get a little bit more pressure on the outside of here, and they're just handy to have around. We had them in the shop, or one gentleman that worked for me had one, and we all used it all the time. And I just never either remembered to get one at a show and never found the one I wanted. And I saw these in Bruce Johnson's booth, and I really, really liked it. And so we got one of those. So real happy to have that. I'm going to make me a spot on my bench to mount that, and you'll see this in other videos when we go to using it. I also got a piece of alligator, or an alligator skin. And this is kind of a new development for me. I've worked with alligator many times in the past for belts or wallets or all kinds of different things. But I've always just purchased the color that I need or the color the customer wanted or what have you. And And so I had a good friend of ours down here for a class a month or so ago, and he brought a huge alligator skin like this. And I've seen these before, but never really had any experience with them, didn't really know what to do with them, so never paid them much attention. But he brought his in that he purchased from Mr. Broderick, and he's at all the shows and everything. You see the alligator guy, he'll be wearing a vest with alligator. It's an alligator vest. Super nice man. My kids love hanging out in his booth. They're always over there pestering him and his wife about the alligator skins and things like that. And so, but my buddy brought one of those into the shop for that class, and then he showed me how to do some dye work on these and different things you can do with them. You can basically dye this crust. They call this a crust. You can dye this any color you want. You can put any finish type you want on there. And he had a wallet that he's been carrying for a number of years. So he's taken a class with Mr. Broderick, and it was really cool looking. And so it really interested me. And then, like I said, we made a few little things just kind of playing around with the dyes, and I was just really amazed at how well you can dye these crusts. So I had a goal to buy at least one little one and bring it home and make a couple wallets, make some things, and play with the dyeing to get familiar and comfortable with that. And then I will probably be buying much bigger skins and much more to do, because I've got some ideas for some projects that I want to do just for the YouTube channel. You guys can watch, kind of like the yoke tote. It's just something I want to build and have you come along with me. That's just going to be an art piece for the store. And so we'll try to hopefully work some of that in if I can get real comfortable with this. Remember, in any kind of craft, any kind of trade, it's all about getting familiar with your tools and getting familiar with the material. Artistry and the craftsmanship's usually really in line, okay, no matter what you're working in. And so leatherwork's the same way, and so that's part of why I got this, just so I can get familiar with the material. But yeah, Crust, if you're going to the Waco show, he'll be there, or he usually is. I would assume he's going to be there. Go by and visit with him. He's super nice, very knowledgeable. I think he harvests all of these himself. He's out of Florida. And so he's very knowledgeable on alligator skins and what you can do. And he's got sells a lot of crust. He's also got all kinds of colors, fun stuff, all that kind of stuff. So go visit with him. But we're going to give this a shot, and I'm excited to do that. In fact, the kids were pestering me yesterday. They wanted to cut some of this up and start dyeing it and playing with it. And I said, let's get the shop organized, because behind this camera, guys, this shop is a wreck. I've still got, I got it cleaned up some yesterday, but we still got stuff we got to put out and organize. So it's a mad rush today to try to wrap that up so we can get on with this weekend. Real quick, too, I want to show one thing. That I did not buy this, but I was given this by a very nice gentleman that I see in Sheridan every year. And this is probably one of the coolest things. You guys have sent a lot of little keepsakes, which I have all in my office, and very thankful for that. Really, really always enjoy, especially something you guys make or something like that. It's always very special, and this is no different. This is a hand napped. He did the napping, I believe is what they call that, for this spear point or knife point here out of flint, or some kind of flint, I guess. He told me what the name of it was, but I can't remember. And then this is a coyote jaw that he finished up and cleaned up and all that. And it's just a little decorative knife. And I thought that was really, really cool. He had a whole story about it and kind of what they do. And this is kind of the stuff that he works on. And he brought that to us as a gift for the shop. And I was very, very thankful for this. It's very, very cool. I'm going to try to I've got a few things like this, and I told my wife and Robin we might want to do like a little shadow box or something, just so that it's not, because usually whatever box you send it to me in, I'll have it on display in my office, but I'm running out of little space on my shelf. So I think I want to do something like that so everybody can kind of see it. If you come by, you can kind of look at that kind of stuff. So we're working on doing some stuff like that on the retail floor, since we do get quite a few visitors. But I want to thank him on here for this. This is a really, really cool piece. And we tucked it away in our show box, which is ironclad thing, and nothing's going to happen to it. So it was right there when I got home. So I've got it. It's not luckily broken or anything like that. I don't know how easy these things break, but we're going to put that up, and that way we've got it. It's very cool. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're back from the show. We're getting set back up. I've got saddles I'm going to be working on, so we are back in the mode. We are not going anywhere except for cow shows and a couple little things this summer until Waco. So we're in the shop. We're going to be here. If you're in the area and want to stop by, we will be here all summer working on trying to get caught up on some saddles now that we've gotten our saddle done for the debut. That saddle will go to 1, maybe 2 more shows this year. Well, possibly 3. Just kind of depends. There's a few things we may carry that saddle to, or at least send it to. But we'll talk about that if we do the other ones. But it will be at Wichita Falls. So we'll be carrying it up there for the Saddle Makers Roundup in October. Or at least that's the plan as of right now, unless something changes. But now that we're back, we usually do, I'm not going to say we'll do this every time, but for the last couple of years, we've done this every time. We're back from the show. The following weekend, we do run a weekend sale for those that couldn't go to the show. So we will be doing that this weekend, and we'll be offering the same discount we did in the booth for those that came by the booth and wanted to purchase some patterns or material packs or merchandise or anything like that. And so we'll be doing that starting Friday at Friday morning. Just figure all day Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It'll end Sunday night. 15% off your entire order. So whatever you order over the weekend, 1 order, 2 order, whatever you want to do, if you're needing stuff and you see this, wait till tomorrow, that sale will start and you will get 15% off your order. We will also be, Claudia is on me to move some of the t-shirts. So we've gotten down, she wants to make a big new order. We've got some new graphics logos and things that we want to do on some shirts that I'm working on. And she wants to do a new order for Waco. And so she said, we got to move some of this inventory because I'm not hauling all that plus what I order. So we need to make some room in the shop. And so we've got a lot of our t-shirts that we've gotten done with the popular sizes, like the extra large and large. And so we either have larger sizes or the smaller sizes, but we do have also just like large and stuff like that, but we're out of it in a bunch of the colors and different things. So we're going to be running a really good sale on the merchandise independently. So I will go through and mark those down by whatever we decide to do on, because they're all different. Some of them we don't have very many of, some of them we have way too many of, right? And so we want to move. Some of the colors maybe aren't as popular, whatever. We just need to make some room on the merchandise inventory so we can get some fresh new stuff with some new logos on there. And so we're going to be going through and independently marking those down. So go through the merchandise deal. Right now it's not on the website because we took it off because we took everything to Sheridan. So I didn't want anybody waiting on us to get back for stuff. So we took all that off. But as far as the t-shirts, possibly the hoodies and the sweatshirts, we will be marking those down. Caps, we're probably not going to mark down, but you'll get your 15% off if you do buy a cap this weekend in your order. And so we're going to be doing that. So if you're interested in some t-shirts or been wanting to get a couple more or something like that, just be sure to check that out. It will be back on the website tomorrow, and they'll already be marked down. There won't be a coupon code or anything like that needed for this sale all weekend long. All you have to do is just, when you check out, you'll see the discount on there. And then same with the t-shirts and stuff. I'll mark those down. You'll see the little sale tag on the ones that we've marked down. But yeah, so that'll be this weekend. It'll end Sunday night at midnight, and that'll be it. And so if you're interested in getting some stuff, be sure and check us out at dgsaddlery.com. Go into our online store, and you can check out all our material packs. I'm going to fill bins or finish organizing the bins and then cut some more stuff. We sold a lot of belt material packs when we were up there, and it looks like Robin sold quite a few while we were gone. And so we'll be cutting more of those and just making sure we've got a lot of stuff filled up. So if you're wanting material or anything like that for your summer projects, that'll be on there. And then summer class schedule, we're working on that and finalizing those details. I've got a couple things this summer that I got to be sure I don't schedule on top of. So Claudia and I got to kind of hash out a couple dates on that. But we will be putting that out here pretty quick. We've got a class next weekend. It's the last of our spring schedule, and it is the Steno book cover class. I believe there's one spot open in that class. So if, I know it's close. It's next weekend down in Moulton, Texas, here in our shop. But if something has changed for you and maybe you're near here or whatever, you decide, I'm going to take that class, you can go on our website under Leathercraft, click on DG Leathercraft Classes, and you'll find that class. It's the only one still available, and that's the last one of the spring schedule. We'll get those off of there, and we will add the summer schedule in hopefully by next week, and that way you'll know what we're going to do this summer. I think we'll probably do a one-day class for those that just want to drive in and drive out and not stay. We'll probably do another couple project classes or something, but we're going to work through that, and we'll post that as soon as possible. other than that, we're just kind of working around, trying to get the shop organized. I should wrap that up today by early afternoon, and then we'll get to working on some project videos. I've got a really cool one that I'm working on that I'm hoping to have out before Waco. I know that seems like a long time, but it's a little complicated, but I'm trying to make it to where it's not so complicated that you have trouble building it, because I think it's going to be pretty popular. It's kind of cool, especially if you travel a lot. So hopefully I can camp on that and get that finalized. But we've got other stuff we're working on as well. Another corner book is in the works, so we'll be working on that and getting that finalized. Everybody seemed to really enjoy the corner books so far, and I got a lot of great feedback in Sheridan that people are really putting those to use. It's not just a collector's item or anything like that. Like, they've shown me projects that they're taking those corners and putting them to work on different projects, anything from a briefcase to checkbook cover. It all works. So corners are a great deal. So we're going to keep doing those. We're working on book number 3 right now, which will have a whole different set of pattern design in there, and that way you can kind of get the ones that you want. We do have 2 out now, so they're on the website. You can certainly look at those if you're not aware of those. But outside of that, guys, again, we want to thank everybody that came by the booth, took our classes, came up and shook my hand, just said hi, hollered at us from across the booth there while we were tooling, whatever you did. We want to thank y'all for coming up there. I met a lot of folks that was their first time up. And like I said, that show's a jam up show. It's run great. It's a little cool up there at times, this year. So, which I've been told can happen in May in Sheridan. So, but it wasn't too bad, and we really enjoyed it. So I want to thank y'all for watching. Be sure to go to dgsaddlery.com, sign up for the Leathercraft newsletter, because that's where we'll send out the class schedule for the summer first, and give those people some time to get signed up if they would like, as well as any kind of new products, things that are going on, anything like that. So you're going to want to be a part of that newsletter. But I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see y'all next week in the Monday Morning Briefing.